3.
Welcome to the virtual reading fair, day 19, morning session. My name, afternoon session. My name is Harriet, and I'm 6 years old, and I'm going to the 1st grade.
And Harry was our top reader. And I'm Meredith McGee, a founder member of the Learning Tree Book Club here in Jackson, Mississippi.
My name is Malcolm Shepard. I'm the president of the Central Mississippi Blues Society.
I'm William Trist. I'm the author in Meredith McGee's publishing company. I'm the author of Reverse Guilty Plea in the New Populist Party.
Yes, I am Vicki Jenkins.
And then staff of Mississippi.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm Vicki Jenkins, and I'm the co-chair of the Community Library and co-founder of the Learning Tree Book Club.
I'm Charlotte Meredith. I'm just here to support, and I am the cousin of Meredith McGee.
Yes, my first cousin.
I'm Savina Shonifer, and I'm a member of the Central Mississippi Blues Club, and sometimes I'm a member of the Learning Tree Book Club.
Ah, wonderful, yes.
I'm Dr. Janice Neal Vincent. I'm a retired university professor, author, poet, speech communication consultant, and it's good being here at this festival.
Thank you. And that's everybody. Okay, so you can go ahead and somebody else come.
I didn't introduce myself. Yes, I didn't introduce myself. I said I'm Millicent Winfrey. I was invited to your group, and thank you for having me. And my sister is Lynette.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Okay, and thank you for stopping by. Okay, so Malcolm Shepard is going to read a book, and you can hold the book up so everybody can see it, and I'm going to type it in the chat. Frankie Finds the Blues.
Frankie Finds the Blues, story by Joel Hopper, pictures and graphics by Gary Kelly, and a foreword by Taj Mahal. And as you can see, the first page of the book is a picture of Willie Dixon. Willie Dixon was an arranger, a musician, and he's responsible for a lot of the work that you hear from what we call the secondary blues performers. The primary blues performers were Tommy Johnson and Robert Johnson. And they grew up not far from each other in Crystal Springs and Hazelhurst, Mississippi. They were the original blues players. The blues started out as a form of cultural expression by African Americans, and it was originally played with an acoustic guitar. The secondary blues artists, B.B. King, Howlin' Wolf from West Point, a lot of those blues people we call the secondary or electric blues performers. Now the blues is emerging again into another form with people like Stevie J and Jericka Singleton, Keith, who's the grandnephew of Muddy Waters. Their blues is a little bit more rhythmic, it's a little bit faster, and a lot of people like to say that it's more danceable now. So the blues is evolving like other art forms all over the world, but of course, the blues is America's contribution to the world. Blues, gospel, and jazz, and it all started right here in the Mississippi Delta. I will read the foreword if I can. Am I allowed to read the foreword and then go into the book? This foreword was done by Taj Mahal. I'll just read it directly. Throughout my career in music, I have been asked, what is the state of the blues these days? Can this great American genre survive in modern times with the preponderance of music from computers, drum machines, and auto-tune vocals? Are young people still interested in learning how to play musical instruments? Fortunately, there is a musical revolution going on across this continent and around the globe that is not represented in music or entertainment magazines, televisions, and popular talent programs. Young people are learning to play this music. For starters, blues, like its close relative jazz, has become a global musical language with people all over the world playing it. They are making pilgrimage to visit the American South and going to the towns, homes, plantation, and juke joints just to get a feel for the areas where this powerful emotional music sprang from. This brings us to Frankie Finds the Blues. What a lovely story of a child learning from his grandmother about this great music and the intergenerational communication and exchange of culture. Frankie is written with love, beauty, great care, and respect. A story like this would have meant so much to my young soul back in the early 50s when blues music first struck a chord deep within me. Readers who share this book with their children, grandchildren, and their great-grandchildren are passing on a priceless gift to future generations. Taj Mahal. Hello. Hello, Frankie. Hi, Grandma. What's up? I have 2 tickets to a blues concert tonight. Would you like to join me? Asked Frankie's grandmother. What kind of music is blues? Asked Frankie. I like hip hop. If you like hip hop, I think you'll enjoy the show. Hip hop came from the blues, said his grandmother. Really? Replied Frankie. Sure, let's go. This music is beautiful, Frankie whispered to his grandmother. It sounds like he is playing 10 guitars at the same time. That is called finger picking, she whispered back. I'll explain it after the concert. The music made Frankie feel like he was taken on a journey. Finger picking originated from African American blues guitarists in the South over 100 years ago. The thumb holds down the bass note, thump, 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 and the other fingers play the treble notes, ping, ping, twang, ping. It's not easy to learn, but you can do anything you set your mind to, Frankie, said his grandmother. How was the concert? Asked Frankie's grandmother as he dashed through the front door and out the back. It was amazing. I have to find my guitar. Isn't it in the garage somewhere? I'm going to have to learn how to finger pick and play the blues. And Mom, did you know that people in Africa were taken away from their families and brought to the United States? They had to work all day for free. They sang work songs to help them feel better, which developed into the blues. And that is where hip hop came from. I learned all about it at the concert. That's right, sweetheart, said Frankie's mother. Music was the one thing that could not be taken away from them. He tried to learn to play guitar by listening to the music, and grandmother bought him at the concert, but he needed some help. Guitar lesson time. During Frankie's first lesson, he remembered why he stopped playing the guitar. It was hard work and it hurt his fingers. But this time, he would not give up. Frankie, you always playing that same song. Can you play hip hop on the guitar? Frankie dreamed that one day he would learn to play the blues. Frankie liked to play the guitar in the park across the street from his house. Sounding real good, came a voice from over Frankie's shoulder. It was the fella he often saw sleeping on the park benches and collecting cans around the neighborhood. Thank you, Frankie replied. I'm learning how to finger pick and play the blues. Do you play an instrument? I played the guitar growing up. Do you know how to play the blues? To Frankie's amazement, he began listening to the most beautiful music. The park paused to listen. Thump, 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 ping, 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 thump, thump, ping, ping, thump, thump. Can you teach me how to play that? As long as it's all right with your parents, I suppose I can try. My name's Walter. My name's Frankie. I have to go and do my homework now. See you tomorrow, same place, same time? Same time, same place it is, replied Walter. Hey, Mom, guess what? I met a guitar player in the park today. He said he would give me lessons. His name is Walter, and he knows how to play the blues. You want to take guitar lessons from a man in the park? You know better than that to talk to strangers, Frankie, said his mother. I know, Mom, but I see him around town all the time. I think he lives in the park. You mean the man with the bedroll on his back, looking for food and garbage can? He plays the guitar? Replied Frankie's mother. Yes, that's him. He's collecting cans, Mom. He recycles them for money. He has been in this community for so long as I can remember, said Frankie's mother. The next day after school, Frankie took his mother and grandmother to the park to meet Walter. Good day, sir, said Frankie's mother. My son says that the two of you discuss guitar lessons. Yes, ma'am. Please call me Walter, Walter Brown. I may be homeless, but I'm harmless. I'm not sure how I feel about this, said Frankie's mother. But Mom, I want to learn to finger pick. Walter, please take my guitar, play a song for them. Walter wailed out one beautiful note after another. Sitting here listening to the birds, trying not to let life pass me by, will I make it back to that place I call home? His fingers hammered down on the guitar. Thump, thump, ping, ping, thump, thump. Your music sounds wonderful, said Frankie's mother. Thank you, ma'am. Please call me Ida. And this is Frankie's grandmother, Marion. Why did you learn how to play the guitar? Asked Marion. My father taught me how to play when I was about your age, Frankie. Frankie's mother and grandmother were both won over by Walter's sincerity and his melodic music. Frankie was so grateful for the guitar lessons that he used money from his own savings and bought Walter a guitar. They continued to play music together, often attracting crowds of people that would stop by to enjoy their music. And it says, you can't just judge a book by looking at the cover. And that's Frankie Finds the Blues.
That was a very good story. And also you taught us something about the blues. And I've always heard this, so because there's a lot of states that claim that the blues started in Tennessee or whatever, but it actually started in Mississippi.
Yes, it did. I've heard so many stories. The basis of the blues starts out with the rhythms of the drum. As you know, Africans brought to this country were kept from playing their original music, but they would play it anyway. Those same rhythms that you hear in gospel music, since being a hand drummer, you know, I've met people from around the world, and we all agree on the commonness of how that music was transferred. And it starts with the rhythm. And then you have the call and response. The call and response that you hear, you know, a lot in those, you know, in the pattern of the music. There's an African group called the Black Mimosa that practice this music all the time. If you ever get a chance to go on Facebook, look them up, and you would hear the same type of gospely, jazzy, bluesy type call and responses in their music that you hear today. And because of that, that experience here in this country, that music was suppressed for a very long time because of the racial stuff that happens here that still continues really today. But I think through technology, through more understanding, we're beginning to understand that not only did this music capture our lives from Africa through the trip here on the ships and the many people that perished, but also it is America's only real contribution to the world in the form of art. We haven't produced anything. Ballet did not come from here. Classical music did not come from here. But what we do have coming from the United States of America is jazz, blues, and gospel. And that's because of our history and our cultural institutions that were able to capture that. And it's here to stay. You know, it's almost like hip hop and rap that I wish would take a different tone to their approach, you know, on some of the things that they do. But it is our contribution to the world. And Mississippi is the place where that started. It did not start in South Carolina. It did not start in Tennessee or Oklahoma. It started right here in the Mississippi Delta. We just never gave those artists credit for it. And now we're beginning to do more of that.
Okay. Anybody else have any other questions about the story, Frankie Fires the Blues?
I would like for the young man, if I see he's gone away from the, from various, what's his name?
Aaron.
Karen.
Harry.
Harry? Harry, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions about the book or the blues or any of that that we've talked about?
No, sir.
Okay, where are you, Harry? Are you in Jackson?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. I mean.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Harry's in Jackson, but he was actually born in Africa, so I think he can relate to something about Africa.
What part of Africa did you visit, Harry?
Cameroon.
Cameroon?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
It was a lot of sand.
A lot of hand drumming, wasn't it?
Not much. Because I couldn't hear anything on the street because of cars. That's the only thing.
Oh, okay. But you enjoyed your trip, though, didn't you?
Sir?
You enjoyed your trip, right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I was saying that I've been listening to the blues.
What'd you say?
I was saying I live in Detroit, but I live in Mississippi. But I've been listening to the blues all my life, but I didn't know until I didn't know I was listening to the blues until I moved to the Delta.
Yeah, a lot of people, for example, we took, I think it was in 2013, Savina, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but we took 13 blues musicians to New York City, out in Brooklyn at the Performing Arts Theater that they had. And to my surprise, we were looking for an after-hours venue where the artists could go and just jam. And so we walked down the street and we located this sizable club. And talking to the owner, we found out he was from Philadelphia, Mississippi. And so we talked to him about it. He said, there's no doubt that you guys can come over. This is like 11 and 12 o'clock at night. They advertised it, and the first night that we left the performance at the theater and, excuse me, walked over to the club, the line had stretched around the blocks twice. That's how many people were waiting to get in, because New York is a jazz town, but when they heard Mississippi blues artists were coming, that place was sold out every night we were there. And so that's the impact that we have. The one thing that we have not done is that we have not sold that like it should have been sold to create more tourism for Mississippians, especially in the Mississippi Delta. And so we're beginning to see changes. You see the blues markers all over the place. What we're trying to get the state to do is to add live entertainment so that people can hear the art form. It's okay to walk up and read a plaque and take a picture and say, I've been in Clarksdale, I've been in Indianola, I've been in Cleveland. But you know, you gotta have a way to get tourists to spend money. And one of the ways to do that is to have the local artists from that community performing live when those tourists come. And so we're hoping that that would happen. Malcolm White was taking a look at that, but now he has retired from the Mississippi Arts Commission. And I think his last day is going to be at the end of this month, Savina? Yeah, I think so. And so we hope the new director come in and pick that up, especially now. I don't know how that would work under this COVID, environment. Certainly tourism has taken a hit. But once this is over, I think there needs to be a concentrated push to celebrate these artists, because we're losing them every day. Bobby Rush is 87 years old. King Edward is 84 years old. And so we're hoping that our videos on Monday night from our Blue Monday show, that we can archive those out at Jackson State, and so that people would be able to see these artists in a live environment and appreciate them while they were living.
Very good, very good.
I would like
So how can we see those videos?
You can go to our Facebook page, Central Mississippi Blues Society, and we've databased a lot of those videos on our Facebook page, but you can also go to our .com, Central Mississippi Blues Society.com. And we're going to be uploading more of those videos on those sites. And currently on Monday nights at 7:30 on our Facebook page, we're rewinding, what we call rewind. We're showing some of the old videos on Monday night Facebook page, Central Mississippi Blues Society at 7:30.
Okay, I posted the website in the chat so that everybody could click on the link, because I would like to see them myself.
Okay, you're more savvy.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm trying to
What'd you say, Malcolm?
I said, I just saw that note pop up. I'm saying that you're more savvy with Zoom than I am.
Oh, yeah. Well, we really thank you all for stopping by, and we hope you can stay for the remainder of the reading meeting, because we're going to be, different people going to be reading different sections of pieces. And you're welcome to read a poem or a few, an article, or a few pages of a book or anything like that, the other people that are here.
Okay. I'm going to stick around for a while.
Okay, well, thank you so much. And who wants to read first today?
I can read.
Okay, well, very good.
Yeah,
And
you can back up.
hold it up so I can type it in the chat.
Wait, stop. This car creeping up on you now. You was sitting.
Nursing as caring. Okay.
Okay, back up a little bit.
Yeah.
Wait.
This, what I'm going to read is a very short segment from a book I co-authored entitled Nursing is Caring. Yeah.
Oh, very
But
good.
what I'm going to read is just a part about caring that I think, that we think is relevant to everyone, not just nurses. So, shall I begin? Okay. As individuals, we are continually in the process of developing expressions of ourselves as caring persons. The flow of life experiences provides ongoing opportunities for knowing self as caring person. As we learn to live fully each of these experiences, it becomes easier to allow ourselves to the space and time to develop innate caring capabilities and authentic being. The awareness of self as caring person calls to consciousness the belief that caring is lived by each person moment to moment and directs the oughts of action. The decisions made from this perspective, the emerging question continually is, how ought I act as caring person? How one is with others is influenced by the degree of authentic awareness of self as caring person. Caring for self as person requires experiencing self as other and yet being one with self, valuing self as special and unique, and having the courage, humility, and trust to honestly know self. It takes courage to let go of the present so that it may be transcended and new meaning be discovered. Letting go, of course, implies a freeing of oneself from present constraints so that we may see and be in new ways. One who cares is genuinely humble in being ready and willing to know more about self and others. Such humility involves the realization that learning is continuous and the recognition that each experience is unique. As my commitment to persons moves into the future, I must choose again and again to ratify it or not. This commitment remains binding, and choices are made based on devotion to this commitment. Personhood is the process of living grounded in caring. Personhood implies living out who we are, demonstrating congruence between beliefs and behaviors, and living the meaning of our own lives. As a process, personhood acknowledges the person as having continuous potential for further tapping the current of caring. Therefore, as person, we are constantly living caring and unfolding possibilities for self as caring person in each moment. Personhood is being authentic, being who I am as caring person in the moment. This process is enhanced through participation in nurturing relationships with others. Caring ingredients, I'll just have one more line. Caring ingredients based on the work of the author Milton Meyerhoff include honesty, courage, hope, knowing, trust, humility, and alternating rhythm. Uh-oh. I'm sorry, am I gone?
I think your audio is off. Can you turn your audio? Savannah, can you turn your audio back on? I think you. Sabina, can you give us a summary of the book? And did you used to be a nurse?
Can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I still am a nurse. Once a nurse, always a nurse. I'm
Oh,
retired.
okay.
I spent most of my career in nursing education. And although I retired from teaching in 2014, I'm constantly researching and writing. I just finished an article yesterday and also finished revising a chapter in a book. So once a nurse, always a nurse.
Oh, well, very good. But that's the first thing that crossed my mind when I saw the title. Uh-huh. Yeah, nurses are wonderful people. Thank you for your service. Does anybody have any questions of what she read?
I just like to ask Savina on the personhood piece. You're using that as a driver to motivate people to do things, right?
It's a recognition of what it means to be human.
Oh, okay.
Actually, the driver in this what I read comes from a book that describes our theory of nursing. And what actually drives nursing, in our opinion, is we have a statement of focus for the discipline and profession of nursing. And that is, nursing is nurturing persons, living caring, and growing in caring. So that's what our whole theory of nursing is about.
And you have to have that in order to be a good nurse, is what you're saying.
You are that. It's a matter of developing the expression of that capability.
Okay. I thought that was where you were headed with that. Okay.
If anybody's interested in more, this is, we have a website, nursingiscaring.com, and you can download the book from that website for free. We uploaded the book to Gutenberg.org. Are you familiar with that site?
What's the site now?
Gutenberg.org. Gutenberg, you know that the first printer of the Bible.
Oh, no, I have not.
Okay, there's a jillion free books on that site.
Can you type it in the chat?
Yeah.
And you all are welcome to come to the Holiday Book Festival, which will be in November. And please tell anybody you know we have a spelling bee and a poetry contest for our. The spelling bee is for, I think, elementary and middle school, but the poetry contest is for children as well as adults.
If you would send us a flyer on that, we'll send it out to our membership.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll send it to Tina. I'll flyer.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And who's
Thank you. I'm going to look that up, Miss Savina.
Oh, she got it in the chat. She typed it in the chat.
Yes.
See, I'm going to look it up.
Okay.
Is that the same? Excuse me. Is that the same website for the book?
Yeah. Well, you can link the book from our website, or you could go directly to Gutenberg.org and put in Nursing is Caring.
Oh,
we also have a Facebook page, Nursing is Caring.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. I like the Facebook page. Is that there too? I'll go to the site and then click on the Facebook page. And so, who's reading next?
Can.
Okay. What you got today, Lynette?
I'm going to read, just not all of it, just a little bit, just touch on it. The name of the book is How We Are Smart.
Now We Are Smart.
By W. Nicola Lisa. Yes, we're all smart in different ways.
All right.
Okay. So what I'll do, they have several people in here who are smart in different ways. I just read a couple, and then I'll read about the different types of smarts that they're referencing.
Okay.
Maria Tallchief. As a little girl, I didn't have much time to dream. Most of my day was taken over schoolwork and music and ballet lessons. Ballerina Maria Tallchief. Here comes Maria, takes center stage. It's a place she craved from a tender age. For Maria loved to dance, to leap and to soar, to spring towards the sky, to fly across the floor. A bitter singer, a clear-throated soprano, or a professional musician playing concert piano. But dance was what she lived for. Dance was who she was. And when Maria took flight, the audience was abuzz. Yes, Maria was smart, so incredibly dignified. She used movement to show what she felt deep inside. Are you smart like Maria? Maria Tallchief, born 1925, of Osage Indian and Scottish-Irish ancestry, is regarded as America's first prima ballerina. She was the first lead dancer of a ballet company born, raised, and trained in the United States. Maria's interest in dancing began as a child watching the Osage ceremony dances. Soon ballet captured her heart, and she began studying with the legendary Russian teacher. Now, I can't say these names, I'm just not going to start. At 17, Maria moved to New York City to join the Ballet Russe de Monte Carlo. She later became a principal dancer for the New York City Ballet under the direction of a famous choreographer who created several ballets just for her. And I didn't know what an Osage Indian tribe was, so I kind of looked them up a little bit, but I have to go back. I didn't get a chance to really read about it. And my other person in here, Matthew Henson. The great accomplishment of the world have been achieved by men who had great visions. The path is not easy, the climbing is rugged and hard, but the glory at the end is worthwhile. Explorer Matthew Henson. Do you know Matthew, who loved open spaces, ocean spray, fresh air, and faraway places? He cared not for cities where he never felt free, so he packed up his bags and shipped out to sea. To the top of the world, to the North Pole he went, where ice froze his fingers and wind slashed his tent. But Matthew never faltered. He kept pushing on until he came to that place no explorer had ever gone. Yes, Matthew was smart, so practical yet bold. He braved nature's fury, endured bitter cold. Are you smart like Matthew? Matthew Henson, 1866 to 1955, was born to free African-American parents. Orphaned as a young boy, he went to sea as a cabin boy at age 13. For the remainder of his teenage years, he traveled the world. In 1887, Robert Perry, then a U.S. Navy engineer, hired Matthew as his assistant. They sailed together for the next 20 years, first looking for the best locations to build a canal to connect the Atlantic and the Pacific Oceans, and then searching for the geographic North Pole. On April 6, 1909, after several trips to the Arctic, Henson and Perry became the first explorers to reach the North Pole. I'll show you all the pictures in the book.
And where did he live in there?
Ma'am, he lived all over the world. Pretty much he traveled.
Oh, okay. You got a lot of books around that house.
Yes, ma'am. Trey can never say he has nothing to read.
Yeah.
Well, when they were little, his mama and his uncle, my kids, told me one day, they said, "Mama, we don't have any books." I said, "That's not even possible." And we looked at, they had read every book, picked them all up and donate them to the library and start over again.
So did they give us a summary of
8 ways to be smart.
Well, what's a couple of the ways to be smart?
Well, I'm getting ready to read it. I'm going to tell you. 8 ways to be smart. In the opening letter, we mentioned that there are 8 ways to be smart. The idea or theory is called multiple intelligence. It was developed by Dr. Howard Gardner, a psychologist at Harvard University, and popularized by Dr. Thomas Armstrong, an educator and psychologist. Everyone is smart in his or her own way, and each of us uses all 8 intelligences to some degree. Here's some information about the traits, interests, and activities most often associated with each way of being smart. You'll see there are lots of different ways to express each intelligence. So I'm not going to read them all. I'll just kind of list them. It's body smart, people who use their body to solve problems or communicate ideas that cannot be expressed in other ways. Logic smart, people who are logic smart can solve complex problems using either language or numbers. Music smart, people who are music smart like music, of course, and they are very aware of nonverbal sounds in their surroundings. Nature smart, people who are nature smart recognize features in the natural world, enjoy classifying things, and understand the environment. People smart, people who are people smart are aware of the moods, feelings, and desires of others. Picture smart, people who are picture smart think in pictures, creating mental images or models of what they are thinking about. Self-smart, people who are self-smart have good knowledge of their strengths and weaknesses. And word smart, people who are word smart like to use words. And that's just a summary.
Okay. Very good.
So you had to tell people, when I first started teaching, children were saying, we can't go to college. And I said, well, who said you can't go to college? Because, you do have trade, you have trade school, and people work with their hands, and people are smart in different ways. I don't need a rocket scientist if I'm camping in the woods. I need somebody that knows how to start a fire, pitch a tent, and bring some groceries in when it's time to eat. That's what you need. So you need different people for different things.
Well, why did they think that they couldn't go to college?
Because I started out with special ed education, and people think the only type of smart you had to be in college and be published, or all that's what they thought was the only kind of smart you could be, was going to college. And they didn't recognize that you can fix a car, you can do hair, you can build a house, you can build a bookcase, you can lay a brick sidewalk. That makes you smart. You can dance. You have people who are music smart. That's what makes the world go on. That's what makes the world interesting. We're all
right.
You should have all your friends shouldn't be kind of smart as you, because you won't get any smarter if you hanging out with people who are just like you.
That's true. Yeah. Okay, so anybody have any questions about the 8 ways to be smart or comments? If not, we can move to the next reader. Who wants to read next?
I will share the remainder of Simple Wisdom.
Thank you.
By Osceola Mccarthy. For those who may not know anything about her, she was the laundress there in Hattiesburg who donated half of her savings to the school, USM, for African Americans to get an education there. She started out with her family's business. They were doing laundry for white folks in the area. And at some point, her mother was raped. I'm thinking, according to what I've discovered about her from some time ago, that her mother may have been raped before she came along because she was the only child in the family. She took care of her sick aunt after her aunt got down and was no longer able to continue the business. Her father died at a very young age, and she had to pull out of school when she was 8 years old. So the only thing that she really knew in terms of how to survive was the family's business. And she never was able to continue back in school. But one of the things she really longed to do was to get a college education. And so that is the reason why she donated half of the life savings, $150,000, to USM. Over time, around 2014, well, she died when she was 91. And then in 2014, there were over 400 African-American students who had benefited from the scholarships based on the endowment that had been established in her name. And ever since that time, lots of donors have contributed to the fund. So the scholarships now are full term. The students can get the Osceola Mccarthy Scholarship and go the entire time there, 4-year term at USM. I wanted to say that because some of you may not have been aware of Miss Osceola Mccarthy. And in this particular book, Simple Wisdom for Rich Living, she talks a lot about practical kinds of things, character development, where we should be in our lives, saving money, knowing how to put away for a rainy day, different kinds of things, even people and how we treat each other and how we should treat each other. So I'm going to deal today, as I've been dealing for some time in the book, about 4 days now, with the ending of her wisdom. Let me find the appropriate section. This is called On Good Living. The first television news crew to talk with Miss McCarthy was a national network news team. Near the end of the interview, which had run long, the reporter asked her if he could take her shopping at her usual grocery store. He wanted film of her buying food. The characteristically agreeable Miss McCarthy said no. When the reporter asked why, she replied that she had bought all the groceries she needed the day before. Trying another tack, the reporter suggested that they go to the store and pretend to be getting groceries. Again, she turned him down flat. She considered that plan dishonest. Giving it one last try, the reporter proposed that they go to the store, film her buying whatever she wanted, and let him pick up the tab. She refused again. Puzzled and slightly exasperated, the reporter asked why. With the confidence of any clear-thinking, sensible person, Miss McCarthy replied, "I just don't need any more groceries." Needless to say, they never did make it to the store, and that reporter learned a hard lesson about simplicity and no-nonsense thinking. Of course, that comes from Bud Kirkpatrick. We worked 6 days a week. Saturday was not especially different from any other day. My mother and aunt usually cooked for families in town, and my grandmother spent the day catching up on her ironing. For my part, I washed and ironed my own clothes and cleaned the house for the rest of the week. But Sundays were different. We took a day of rest. We attended church in the morning and the evening. It refreshed us for a new week. Everybody needs a day of rest. I once took a trip to Niagara Falls. Long, the sound of the water was like the sound of the world coming to an end. In the evenings, we spread blankets on the ground and ate picnic dinners outdoors. I met people from all over the world. On the return trip, we stopped in Chicago. I liked the city, but was ready to get back home. I missed the place where I belonged, where I was needed and making a contribution. No place, no matter how majestic, compares to the piece of earth where you have put down your roots. Some people get angry about racial inequality and injustice, but I have no ill feeling toward white people. I just figure everybody is trying to make a living the best way they can. Washing and ironing was simply the way I had to make my living. I didn't mind because I didn't have an education. I think being educated is the way to live. That's God's best for us, and that's the way to progress. Loneliness is a terrible, terrible thing. I used to get so blue, I would just cry about it. Now I get to humming a song or I recite the 23rd Psalm. If you keep your mind occupied, Satan can't attack you. I try to keep my mind busy with work or the things I need to see to. I ain't got no time to be thinking about evil things. There's a lot of talk about self-esteem these days. It seems pretty basic to me. If you want to feel proud of yourself, you've got to do things you can be proud of. Feelings follow actions. I stay in good health most of the time. I don't exercise too much, but work keeps me moving. I eat plenty of vegetables, carrots, beans, broccoli, cauliflower, and greens. I love to eat, but I eat in small amounts. If you don't eat too much, then you can eat whatever you want. Take a piece or a slice, not a whole or a half of something, with just a taste of tea. Too much tea is hard on your kidneys. Worry can ruin you, so I try to keep it behind me. I keep busy with my work and let problems go on behind me or wherever they want to go. Let me press forward. My life is ahead of me. Sometimes the devil will overpower you with worry, trying to keep you down and suck out all the good in your life. You've got to be careful and guard your thoughts, because he'll tell you lies that look like the truth. I am not afraid of dying. I am ready to go anytime God calls me home. I am at peace with my life and my work. I don't think I have any enemies. It upsets me to see so many people suing for big amounts of money. Most of the time, what happens is just an accident. I don't understand people wanting to take advantage and get something for nothing. When people come into money that way, they usually fall out of it just as fast. When I was a girl, few colored people had telephones. My aunt and grandmother worked in white people's houses, and they would use the phones there to call the store and order our groceries for delivery. They didn't have to spend time running back and forth. Life was ordered. We didn't have the benefit of computers, but we had more peacefulness. Our minds and bodies need that. Young people should find something they're good at. They need to practice to build skills and to keep their minds busy. I think working hard gives them an important feeling of accomplishment. I still have lots of learning to do. I am supposed to take a computer class at the university. I visited one class. I had so much fun. Everybody was laughing, talking, and showing each other how to do new things. I felt like a child again. When I leave this world, I can't take nothing away from here. I'm old and I won't live always. That's why I gave the money to the school and put my affairs in order. I planned it and I am proud of it. I am proud that I worked hard and that my money will help young people who have worked hard to deserve it. I'm proud that I am leaving something positive in this world. My only regret is that I didn't have more to give. Springtime is my favorite season. I love the soft rain. Everything is beautiful coming into leaf and bloom. That's my idea of paradise. My grandmother kept a nice garden around the house. Our yard was full of flowers. The sight of them was comforting. It filled me with hope. I do have a few fears. I am afraid of the dark, and I am scared to death of snakes and lizards. I don't enjoy taking fish off the hook, but I don't let those things keep me from living. After my aunt died, leaving me alone, I hardly slept for 3 months. I had always been the littlest thing in the house, but the time came for me to grow up. I did. And so the book ends talking about the Osceola Scholarship that I mentioned the other day when I got started with it. Miss Osceola Mccarthy, born 1908, died 1999.
I'm so inspired by that story. I'm glad I got to listen to you read the whole book over a period of days. And it's just amazing to me that somebody so ordinary, a washerwoman, did something that was so extraordinary by saving half of her no wages over a long time and getting with the banker who invested it. Then she ended up giving over $250,000 to a scholarship fund and she became the most famous benefactor of the college. And it is one of the biggest scholarships we have because other people were impressed and they started contributing to the fund, and that was just, and she stopped school at age 8. It was like, wow, that's so inspiring.
You know, when I think about it, and she's quite witty too. She was very witty. She had a sense of humor. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, Lynette, you were saying?
Oh, I was just saying she was humble, but she did a great thing. She didn't say, "Look at me, look at what I've done." She wanted to help other people. That gave her great joy.
Mm-hmm.
Was there?
And remember, this lady who never owned a car. She never drove anywhere. And God took care of her all her life.
Is there any indication on why she chose Southern to be the recipient of her funds?
Yes, because she never was able, living there in Hattiesburg, she never was able to go to the university. And so USM was the closest thing to her. And she wanted the Black children to be able to go there and get their education, the Black children there in the Hattiesburg area. So that was her way of putting back into the community. And we tried for several days during these conversations about her to find out how much money her family earned from the different families they took care of in the laundry business, but never could find an amount. All we know is the half of her savings went there for the scholarships for the Black children, and the rest of the savings, the other half, went to a few members in her family.
She was around during the time that Clyde Kennard tried to enroll at Southern. Is there
No, she was well after him. Was it 90? You know, he was in around the time, he was in the 60s. Clyde Kennard was in the 60s. And she did this in was it 99?
Now, she was born in 1908, died in 1999. It was somewhere around, I want to say during the 80s or the early 90s. I want to say that, but somewhere in the book, it does mention that time period.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm thinking of the late 80s, mid 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, I think you
when she became famous
in the 80s. But I believe you're right. You got a point, Malcolm, because I'm sure that she realized and knew Clyde Kennard.
Right.
He wanted to go to the school because it was the closest place to his home.
Right.
And that's where she was from, Hattiesburg. So she wanted the children, the black children, to be able to go to that school, which was down the street, you know. That same thing that he wanted to go to school down the street.
Yeah, I'm sure that there's some kind of connection there that we don't know about. But you know, it's just like Vernon Damer. If you know anything about the civil rights movement, you know Vernon. But also with her and Mr. Kennard having been a veteran and wanted to come back and go to school, you know, that probably bared some on her decision to make that investment for future kids, African-American kids who wanted to go to that university. It's a great school. My oldest daughter, Monica, who works with me now, is a graduate. Well, she went to Hattiesburg, to Southern, and then transferred to Belhaven College here. But she had a wonderful time there. And a lot of her classmates, for example, one of her classmates right now, Monica Barnes, I think is her name, she's the producer of the radio program with Steve Harvey. And yes, and so, you know, they maintain close relationships. But I'm sure in that environment that she had to know something about Mr. Kennard and vice versa.
Right.
Yeah, and so just carrying on the tradition is a wonderful thing.
Yes.
Yes.
And Sabina,
and it's really amazing how they embraced her in the area. The banker there, Trustmark Bank, how he took up with her and helped her in terms of compound interest and different kinds of things, and the different connections that came as a result of her efforts. This is a woman who's been honored even at Harvard, honored there at Harvard. And I mean, it's a wonderful thing, and the different networks, CNN and others, just embraced Osceola Mccarthy, a woman who just led a simple life, never married, just took up with the laundry business and continued it. That's just amazing.
I think someone was holding up a phone, and Savine, did you have information about Ms. McCarty?
She's got, yeah, she's got a picture.
I don't have any particular information about her. I know that some of the students who benefited from her scholarship were nursing students at USM. And I was just looking on Wikipedia, and it says that USM awarded her an honorary degree at some point.
And Harvard did too.
Yeah, she has several honorary degrees. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, let me see if Harry, are you gonna read before we get out? I'm happy. Okay, Harry, you're gonna be the last reader because the meeting is almost over. You know, people always like to go last.
I do not have a book.
Okay, you have a book this time.
Yeah.
So go get one.
No, ma'am, because it's already almost the end of Zoom.
Okay, then.
Well, he's probably worn out because he contributed so much.
Yeah, 32
He
books.
contributed a whole lot.
32 books.
Have you worked in any of your workbooks that you got yesterday?
Ma'am?
Have you did anything in your coloring book and your writing book yesterday that you got?
No, ma'am.
Not yet. You just been playing and having fun, huh? I know that's what you have.
I like to not do anything because of coronavirus.
Yeah,
And sometimes swim. And I sometimes swim.
Yeah, I saw you swimming the other day. You and your little brother. Yeah, I'm having
Yes,
fun.
you have to wear floaties or you'll drown, but it's not that deep.
All right. Well, I guess I'll read something to do the last. I'm gonna read a couple of paragraphs on C.T. Vivian. That's on this group to get Jackson Advocate. Vivian created a college readiness program to help take care of the kids that were kicked out of school simply because they protested racism. And I think that's what somebody was telling me. He created Upward Bound. I admired him, and before I became a senator and got to know him as a source of wisdom, advice, and strength of my first presidential campaign, Obama stated, "I'm only here to thank C.T. Vivian and all the heroes of the civil rights generation. Because of them, the ideal of just, fair, and inclusive and generous America came closer into focus. The trails they blazed gave today's generation of activists and marchers a roadmap to tag in and finish the journey." And that was the end. I had already read some of the information about Reverend Vivian, who was a part of the Freedom Riders and the first sit-ins, and he got involved. I think it said in the civil rights in the 40s, and then he passed at age 95. So that's this has been a wonderful look. Harry said the 19th day we were starting the whole new. So I guess yeah, it has been a long ride. We read for 18 days together virtually twice a day, and so this is only once a month. The Learning Tree Book Club is the first Saturday of every month, and this is our first virtual event because we were not able to meet in person at the mall for the past 4 months. Last time we met was in the 1st of March, and then March 11th, everything changed. So we hope that you all will become Learning Tree Book Club members and read with us once a month. And the next one is the first Saturday of September. And we thank you all for coming, and I thank you so much for everything I've learned about blues and about Miss McCarthy and what you said about caring. And Lynette has her wants to make a comment.
Oh, I just want to join the book club. That's all.
Oh, yay! Wonderful, wonderful. That is great. And now we got a link so we can go look at Bobby Rush live.
Just, I would like for Karen to introduce herself.
Okay.
Trying to unmute. Okay. How are you? My name is Karen Bellamy. I'm from Detroit. I know Lynn from high school, and I woke up from a nap and I had a message from Lynn. So I joined late, but I heard, I think it was the first story. I really enjoyed it. And I took some notes because I love music. So I took some notes about the Central Mississippi Blues Society. So I plan on participating in that or listening to that on Monday. And I wrote notes about Osceola Mccarthy. And I was familiar with Maria Tallchief. I'd read about her before. So I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Okay.
Very good. So are you a new member of the Friendship Book Club too?
I'd never heard of this before. So this was my first time participating.
Okay, well, we'd like for you to join. We meet once a month for an hour and a half, and the ages is from 6 to 60 plus. Normally we have more children. I think they were kind of worn out, but we only have one today who was our star reader. He read 32 books in our 18 days of our virtual reading fair, which we read twice a day.
Okay.
He had perfect participation.
Okay, good. Well, thank you. I really enjoyed it.
Okay, then. And
this video, Valerie Wade is my friend from. I met her right after I graduated from high school.
And I'm gonna put our next meeting, which is gonna be August the 11th. We're doing a virtual meeting on literacy, and Lynette is gonna do some history about Detroit public education. Did she tell you?
She's been asking me some questions. I wonder which was. She's been
okay,
asking me some key questions lately.
All right, that's wonderful. But I'm sending you the flyer so you can share. Everybody can share it with people, and then I get to talk about the Smith Robinson Museum, which was our first school, the Smith Robinson School here in Jackson, 1890, and then a forum, and also. This video is going to be uploaded to YouTube, to the Community Library Facebook page, and to the Community Library Twitter feed. We have about 9 people following us on Twitter, so I hope y'all will follow us. But Megan Wade, she retweets out because she loves to read. She's a local a news personality. So this will be shared, with the public. Harry, you want to take us out of here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you for attending this Zoom. I hope you can attend the next Zoom on Saturday, 2:15, evening session. Thank you for attending this Zoom.
Thank you, Harry.
Thank you.
All right, see you guys later. It's been a great Saturday evening with you all.
Really have.
Yes.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.